Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous, joined by Cadoink, bringing you some action from the Form Cup Diamond and Up. Splaying down in the bottom left-hand corner of Antigua Shipyard is Geno as the blue Terran. Up here in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent Venom spawning in as the green Protoss. And Cadoink, again, he's back. He's joining me. And he's over his entire, like, watching MLG with my friends, I have friends, kind of stage. So, how's it going, Cadoink?
It's good, man. I moved to Kansas. I got an apartment. I'm going to school again. I've been busy, but now that I'm on a schedule, I can start doing things like this with you. And yeah, last weekend was MLG, and I wasn't going to do anything during MLG. Shoot. Physics parties.
We need to talk about Idra, because Idra was ridiculous.
He was really good.
I didn't see that coming. I was like, what the hell? What's Idra doing? Because he used to be like one of my favorite players when I didn't really know anybody. Because Idra was just somebody that everybody talked about, and he was kind of interesting to watch. But now he's actually good, which is weird.
Well, he used to be really good because he used to live in Korea, and he used to live in a gaming house where he would be forced to practice for like 8 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, here they actually have sticks to beat people that lose games in those houses. Is that
oh yeah,
true?
man.
Can you confirm that?
No, I can't confirm that, but I know that you're not allowed to tab out while you play. At least that's how Brood War was.
Wow.
You got on, you played for 8 hours, you didn't tab out, you kept playing.
Wow, that is hardcore.
And you had people walking around, coaches walking around, and making sure everything was kosher. But then he joined EG, and EG's a great team, but they're a lot more lax. You know, they have the competitive drive, but they
don't have the sticks.
Kind of like
they're missing the sticks. You know,
The best way to describe EG is they want to be good at everything rather than great at one thing, right?
Well,
they want to be great at everything, but the result is they're good at everything rather than great at one thing.
Yeah.
So
I think EG is much more of a team based around like making sponsorship money through having their players do things other than perform at tournaments.
Yeah.
You have In Control being a pillar on State of the Game when it happens, because it hasn't happened recently.
Forever.
And also doing stuff like Live on 3 and all those things. And the same thing with Idra. And they also have like those really ridiculously funny commercial shoots and stuff like that. And both players are, just by the way, going for extremely standard things. We had a 1 gate expand and a 1 Rax gasless FE. So, yeah, nothing impressive. So we're just going to keep talking about EG for a small amount of time longer. Unless you have nothing more to add, Cadoink.
I want to change the subject, man.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about Geno. Geno, I'm rooting for you so hard in this game. And let me tell you why. Number one, you are my Terran buddy. Because I am a Terran player and you are a Terran player, and therefore I want to see you win. But more importantly than that, Geno is one of the greatest video game characters of all time.
I don't know what game Geno is from.
And that is so tragic. So there's this console a long time ago called the Super Nintendo. It was awesome. It was like the coolest thing ever. And there was this game that Square Enix made with, or Squaresoft or Square Enix, whichever one it was at the time, made with Nintendo, where they made an RPG for Mario. And it was called Super Mario RPG. Legend of the Seven Stars.
I actually read an IGN article about like the history of Mario and like where it's come from and where it's gone, and they had like an entire couple paragraphs based on that.
Yeah, it's an incredible game, and Geno is an incredible character. He's like this little puppet-looking dude, and he's a baller. He's my favorite character, and he has a move that if you do just right, it's like near impossible, but if you do it just right, you do like 9,999 damage, and you just instant kill everything.
Wow.
Yeah, so Geno, you're a baller. Keep it up.
I wonder if he actually picked Geno because of that character.
I'm sure he did.
Geno, message me. We need to learn this.
Yeah, let us know. Tell us your experience. My experience is the first time I played it, I played it on a computer through a ROM emulator thing. And then second time, I actually got a Super Nintendo and got the game and beat it on a Super Nintendo. It's the only game I've beaten in its entirety on a Super Nintendo.
Well, that's because games back there were freaking impossible.
Oh, they're so hard. So hard. Anyway, we should start doing Geno some justice and talk about what he's doing. He's getting a third gas up at his natural, as well as getting some barracks, as well as a factory. Looks like he wants to be doing some sort of heavy marine play as he's getting a reactor up.
Yeah, we see Venom making Colossi, which is like the direct shutdown to heavy marine play. And also, I would just like to point out that this forge placement is kind of awesome, because a lot of players want to snipe both forges as they're upgrading, because that's a good thing to do, but you really can't when they're in a position like this. Plus, and this is just kind of another side note that's not nearly as important as the fact that, you know, these forges are placed awesomely, both of these pylons power both forges, so even if his opponent does go for the snipe on one of the pylons to try to unpower one of the forges, it doesn't matter, because the other kid's still getting powered, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's actually sick, to be honest. That's like such a sweet place to put your forges. And what's interesting, a lot of good players will actually assign a screen location just for their upgrades, just for their forges. So they're like F6 double chrono boost, right?
Yeah.
So my only gripe with the forge position is that I always put my upgrades by my command center so that I can like F2, F3, you know, to see them, that sort of thing. But as far as like protection, this is gnarly. Yeah, and then adding this Twilight Council here, so sick.
Yeah, and even adding a pylon just to make sure. The triple layer of protection. And we have Geno actually forming up quite a force, and Venom is not nearly... He does not nearly have as much of an army. The big advantage he does have, of course, is the tech advantage with Colossi pouring out. But he is no longer, like, he's just no longer producing out of these gateways currently. They've been sitting at, like, a full production cycle for quite a while, and he just doesn't have any money. As he is taking an expansion, he's getting both of those Colossi up, he's getting double upgrades. He's going for a lot of different things at once.
Yeah, he's actually at a huge risk right now. I actually played a game with a Master League player just 2 days ago, and he was a Protoss player, and he crushed me. But he said that if a player goes early Colossus and you're Terran, go for a medevac timing and just push out. And because of the heavy investment into Thermal Lance, Colossi, they're not going to have a lot of Stalkers, which we see here. Venom only has one Stalker, only has one Stalker. So you can actually just put your units in the medevac, fly them straight over to the Colossi, and drop on the Colossi and snipe it real easily.
And it looks like Geno is setting up for this combat, and he's not actually going to be doing that as Force Fields split his army, and most of his units just get absolutely destroyed. Ugh, it's a little bit nasty. He did manage to pick off one of the Colossi, which is okay. It's not the amount of damage he wants to do. He's now picking up and flying into the main base. There's quite a few Stalkers, and the Photon Cannon is that. Oh, the Photon Cannon refocused onto the ground units. One of these medevacs actually is not going to get picked off. Plenty of probes kind of getting shot at. I don't think I actually saw one probe go down. I don't think a single probe went down.
He ended up losing 2. Well, workers killed. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
This tab always confuses me. It says workers killed and then it's blue. Like, is that's workers you've killed or workers that have been killed?
That's how many workers you've killed, but it's always also like odd to call because it can be a worker killed at any point in the game as this final group drops. It does go down to third base, and I would expect to get cleaned up pretty rapidly.
Yeah, he's gonna get a few more probes though. It looks like he's up at 9, 10, hitting 11. Wow, he's probably even gonna get 13 in total. Actually, not the worst attack.
Actually, ended up at 14 then. Marauder picked one off right before he died. He was a brave man.
Yeah, brave soul right there.
Saw the medevac and he was like, I'm gonna kill some of these robot bastards.
Yeah, the only problem with that whole thing is that he could have done that attack without losing his entire army, right?
Yeah.
So suppose he had pushed, kind of feigned the front, forced those force fields, and then lifted up and dropped at the third and the main at the same time, would have done tons of damage right there, where as he only really killed 14 probes, which is good, that's going to kind of save him. I guess you could say, because if he hadn't gotten any probe kills, he'd be way behind.
Yeah, he's still way behind because he does not even have his third up yet. It's like 20% into production, and his opponent has a third fully running, or well, not fully running, but pretty freaking close. It just needs more probes.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, if we look at the worker supply, Geno's ahead in workers,
Wow.
and he's ahead in income because of mules. So that third is a little bit less crucial for him. Really, the big thing I'm afraid of is his army. He only has 3 Vikings at this time, to 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus that's out, and 3 Vikings really, unless they're at +1, which they won't be by the time this attack happens, they're not going to do too much damage to those Colossi.
Yeah. And we actually see this force kind of posturing into a spot where they might be ready for an attack. It looks like Venom might actually be pushing right now, which is kind of strange because he does not yet have charge. I would definitely be waiting for charge to finish before going for any sort of an attack like this. And he's kind of just moving in on his opponent's turf, and of course the Terran also does not want to engage it because his upgrades are just about to finish as well. So we're probably just going to see both players kind of like sit here and like be kind of like aggressive a little bit, but then back off before an engagement happens because nobody wants to attack right before their upgrades finish. Which is always something kind of funny and interesting to see in a lot of matches.
Yeah, a huge reason Geno didn't want to engage there is Venom has a lot of Stalkers now, and that many Stalkers can kill those 3 Vikings very quickly. So it was a smart move to pull back because now we see he has 6 Vikings, and he's going to have +1 attack for his Vikings as well. That's going to make a big difference in the next battle. So as long as he has a good engagement, I think he should be fine. Ooh, but the Stalkers are going down towards these Vikings, and looks like he is going to get away.
Yeah, these Stalkers are kind of being a little bit sketchy. I mean, these Vikings are definitely being odd. They're actually going to be flying right under the Stalkers. Oh my god, 1 Viking gets picked off, and the rest of them do live. We do have a Warp Prism coming down here, presumably going for the 3rd, and Geno is pulling all of his units off to go for a probable attack. And this Warp Prism is going to get in and probably do all of its harassment completely free of issue. And we do see this Terran army. You know, they see the Nexus. They obviously want to kill it. However, only a small platoon is committed to that. And why is he not running up the ramp with this small amount of... Why is he engaging? Cadoink, why is he engaging? Cadoink.
I don't know. It's not... I don't know. Not very wise. You need to pull them back. They're not going to do anything else. The other thing I'm worried about is Venom is up at 3 Colossi with 2 more on the way, and he also has High Templar with Storm. So High Templar with Storm against a Terran army with no ghosts, plus they have 5 Colossi to the only Vikings.
Yeah, this is definitely the point where the Protoss army is hitting that deathball stage, and so many units are going down just for Geno versus almost none for his opponent, which is always odd. Because, you know, a lot of players, you know, you don't lose units for free like that. We just see Geno getting caught in awkward positions. And the 3rd base is getting attacked. But the Terran army moves in, tries to snipe a little bit off, and we see the Templar going in for storms. Oh, beautiful storms with almost no micro.
Oh man, yeah, great storms hitting. One of the Colossi does go down, but there are 3 more left, and all the Vikings are being picked off.
Yeah, I do not see Geno getting past this attack. I mean, he might push it off a little bit, but he's going to lose his 3rd, which is, you know, half of his income essentially at this point. And it's really not a hit he can take. And, you know, 4 Colossi are still up with 2 more about to finish. And that's just such a massive Protoss army. He is now 50 supply up, and that's kind of just disgusting.
Yeah, and look at this. Venom just pulling back and sending a few Stalkers forward to just see what's going on. He doesn't want to take any risks. I mean, his tournament life is on the line, and so he did sacrifice those Stalkers kind of foolishly, but he just wants to make sure, hey, I've got this gold base as my 4th. His opponent is, you know, at the very least floating a 3rd down or building a new one, so I'm in a good spot. There's no reason for me to take any unnecessary risks.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like he's just going to play a little bit defensively. He's going to wait for this Terran army to come in for an attack. And Geno, his army is way too small. It's so small. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's like absolutely nothing on the ground. He's floating this fourth base over, which is just, oh, it's suicidal.
Yeah,
at
his
this
army
point.
supply is 75 to 133. That's pretty nasty. And we now have stalkers going up into the main base to camp the production. They're going to be able to stop any additional Viking support from getting out, along with any additional medevac support. And it looks like the Terran army is just going to completely ignore the fact that they're just Vikings sniping off buildings. They're going to opt to go for the Colossus Force. There are those force fields, a lot of EMPs going down on all of the Zealots, but they still just have enough health to tank it. They don't care. And there's the flood of units and all the Terran units going down, production getting camped, and Geno GG's the hell out. That was kind of nasty. So anyway, guys, if you'd like to watch any other games I've commented, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2 or just search for boisteroussc2. Also, if you'd like your games commentated, you can send them on in to boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I accept any skill level, anything. I'll take whatever you have to send me. And I'll probably commentate it. If you would like me to commentate with Cadoink, you can just go on and type in like that as a little message in the email and just be fine with that. And Cadoink, where can they find you?
You guys can check me out at youtube.com/user/Cadoink Studios, or you can type Cadoink Studios into the search bar and that'll work as well. I'm sure Boisterous will link me to you at the bottom of this video, perhaps. Yeah, you can check me out there. I'd love it if you guys would subscribe and comment. I want chatter. I want chatter on my channel, so just, comment on this video, comment on some of mine, comment on some more of Boisterous's. We do love comments.
Just
so yeah,
remember,
that's all I've got.
Just remember, if they're racially insensitive, they get more comments going. So, be as mean as you want. It's fine. It's perfectly okay. So anyway,
yeah,
guys,
controversy.
Yay, controversy. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, and I'll see you later.